Okay, what's going on, LBHT crew B? What is going on?
I see people already checking their points. It's too early.
Sorry for the late, the slightly late start. Had a little technical difficulties here with my light. I got a light bulb over here falling apart. The light started flickering. I was like, that's not normal. So I was trying to fix it a little bit, but hey, we are here. All right. It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday.
Indeed.
Hope your week is going well, but if not, hopefully it gets better starting right now. Let me tell you something, because it's been a long week so far. It feels like I worked 5 days already. All right. And I was tired coming to the show, but it happens every time. Anytime I'm not feeling well, even anytime I'm feeling a little tired, right before we're about to go live, I get a jolt of energy. I feel good right now. Good right now. I'm always excited to talk to you guys. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Just them, huh?
I said you guys.
Okay.
I talk to you every day.
Okay.
All day, every day.
Okay. No, I got it.
Listen, we are streaming
taking
live.
My energy down a little bit on this Wednesday, but that's all right.
We are streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. All right. So wherever you're watching us, hit that like button, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you are listening to us on your audio podcast, wherever you're listening, Spotify, Apple, Good Pods, make sure you leave a 5-star review. All right.
Yeah, but not Stitcher anymore.
Not Stitcher. What happened to Stitcher?
Stitcher's going out of business. They're closing it down. So head over to Good Pods.
Head over to LBHTShow.com. We have the podcast over there as well.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about to leave reviews and whatnot.
Well, you can leave comments on our website. Go to LBHTShow.com. If you're looking for a new home to listen, especially if you listen to us and you're listening to us on Stitcher and you're looking for a new home, go over to our website. You got us, you got the Road Pod, you got Sip to Tally Films, you got Deep Cover Podcast, you got Open Mic with OTR Mike. All of us are over there, and it's right there on the homepage. Just click on it, okay? Now, also, I want to say, before I give shout out to everybody, because there's a lot of people in here, shout out to you guys, all right? Shout out to you. We have a point system, just like Coach. Coach, what's going on? I hope you got my text. Coach? I hope you got my text. No pressure. If you want to come on and chat with us, we're going to be discussing Coach's power rankings in the show. All right. I think this is the. No, I don't think. I take that back. I know this is the best power rankings out there. If you are into that kind of thing, NFL power rankings, there's only one that you need to see, and that's over on more Sip to Tally Films. In fact, I challenge you to find a better power ranking system than Coach's. All right. He's doing 32 days, 32 teams. Okay. And he has a grading system. He goes into detail on each team, why they're ranked, where they're ranked. Today, number 30 was the Arizona Cardinals. All right. So we're going to be discussing 32, which was the Rams, 31, which was the Lions, and 30, which was the Cardinals. We're going to be discussing that on today's show.
And don't accept Jose's challenge. He's setting you up. You are not going to find a better one. All right. Just head over to More Sip to Tally, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and you can watch the premieres every day.
Yes. So I said point system. We got a point system from Coach. So you got people in here saying, type it in the chat, exclamation points. If you're new here and you're wondering what that's about, we give out points. And every month we do a prize based on who has the most points or who's met the threshold, which is 1,000 points. We do a random giveaway for anybody that's reached 1,000 points. How do we give out points, B?
We give out points to people who engage with the show. Right? That's a simple way to put it. But if you're here during the live streams, points. If you talk in the chat, points. If you donate to the show, points. Okay. If you comment on the videos that we put out throughout the week, points. If you get a question, if you submit a question and get read on the air, points. If you sign up for our newsletter on LBHTShow.com, points. If you go to eventbrite.com and purchase a ticket for the August 4th meet and greet, all of the points.
Lots of points. A whole lot of points. Okay. If you buy a ticket, you're in the game. You buy 2 tickets, you might be on top of the game. Okay. Although Ferris has donated a whole lot. So
Ferris does not have the lead that he once had.
he does not. So if you're in the area, you're thinking about going to the August 4th meet and greet. It's happening in Columbia, Maryland. So if you're in the area, get your tickets. And I mean, just getting tickets alone, you're going to get prizes. Okay. Because everybody's going home with a goodie bag. And our goodie bags are good goodie bags. There's going to be food, drinks, music. All right. And we're giving away other prizes too. So
yes,
come hang out with us. You won't regret it. Shout outs. Listen, Suge was here early. As soon as I set the stream up, he was here. He says, "Is this thing on?" It's on, Suge. Thanks for coming through, my friend. Also, another dope creator that you need to be subscribed to, Suge Knight 323. Yes. All right. And Suge Knight 1323 over on Twitch. Okay. D Weezy's in the house. What's good, D Weezy? Thanks for coming through. Our brother OTR Mike, who was here earlier for the points. Look at that. Exclamation points. Thanks for coming through, man. Raven Ron's in the house. What up, LBHT? And go O's. Okay. Yes. A special shout out to Stream Elements Bot for not being Nightbot. Okay. Salute to you. You know, we had a little issue with Nightbot back in the day, but Stream Elements Bot has been holding it down.
And I want to add on a couple other ways to get points. If you do submit a trivia question, because I forgot to mention that, is we do a trivia question every week. The first 3 to answer correctly get 1,750 and 500 points respectively. But if you submit a trivia question and it's used on the show, or if you submit a Black History fact and we use that on the show, that's big points also.
Yeah, there you go. Also, I should mention, if you sign up to the newsletter, send us you can send us email, DM, whatever you want. Let us know, hey, I signed up. Just leave your email address in there so we know who to assign the points to. Should probably mention that. All right. Ravenville, what's going on? Says, what's up, LBHT crew? What's up with you? Bazel, what is going on, my friend? Salute to you. Chocolate Lady Cap in the house. Salute to you.
What's going on?
Yolanda B says, good evening, everyone. Good
What's
evening,
up, Yolanda?
Our guy, Living Legend in the house, says, lunch break, hot take. Yes. We got Go Man. What's up, Go Man?
What's going on?
Daniel Franklin's in the house, says, what's going on, LBHT crew? What's going on with you, Daniel? Our guy Hendo from the Roll Pod, salute to you. Said, what's good, LBHT crew? Hey, he is close to 2,000 subscribers, right?
No, he hit 2,000. Congratulations to Hendo and the Roll Pod.
Yes.
Now it's time for 3.
All right. Can we get our brother to 3,000? Yes, we can. Okay. Living Big with Big Reg in the house says, hey, yo, B2, I need to stop eating up all the points. You and Ferris.
Bazel.
Talking about Bazel. That's right. Yes. Bazel, look, those two are very competitive. All right. They're very competitive. It's not about the prizes. It's about the glory. Okay. It's about winning. They want to win, B. Okay. So yes. If you're trying to compete with them, you need to bring it. You don't have to even spend any money. You can sign up for the newsletter. That'll get you in the game, and just participating in these chats, being active. Okay. That'll get you points. Tracy, what's going on, Tracy? Tracy says, hey, my good people. Hey, Tracy, shout out to you. Yes. Okay. All right. So we're going to go through these topics. All right. Look, it's a slow season. Okay. Not a whole lot going on, but we find stuff to talk about. So training camps are going to be starting. We're going to be going over the dates, and of course, Ravens and Panthers, when their training camp starts, kind of things to look out for. We're going to talk some D-Hop. You saw that in the headline. Okay, D-Hop, where is he going to go? Hey, look, Ravens fans, he's still in play. But Panthers fans, he is also in play. Okay, listen. When you let good players like that just hang around free agency, eventually they're going to end up somewhere, and they can end up someplace
that you don't want them to be.
And we're going to talk about another person that's in free agency right now. Another team just made him an offer, and that won't be good for the Ravens either. So we're going to discuss that. We got NBA free agency coming up. There's a lot of rumors coming out. NBA free agency is wild. Okay. Players jump around and the moves that are made. I love it. I love it. So we're going to be discussing that. And look at my man, Coach. Coach wants his POINTS points.
and this is why I keep telling you, he's put in the chat. This is why I keep telling you we need to bring Nightbot back. Just every now and then, not an every week thing, but just a special appearance to keep people in check.
Okay.
The coach would have been banned for flooding the chat if he tried to spell out points. Nightbot don't play.
What's up, Jeremy? Thanks for coming through, man. Okay. All right. We have a lot to discuss. We really do. And we got the overtime. We got a few things to talk about in overtime show. So let's get this going. But first, we like to start every show with a Black History fact. And B has a Black History fact for you.
Yes. And this is going to be a bit of a kind of a civil rights history fact. Today, June 28th, is the anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising, which happened in Greenwich Village in New York City in 1969 on June 28th. If you don't know what that is, it was a some people call it a riot. I wouldn't really call it a riot, but an uprising, like they say, at a gay bar in New York. At that time in this country, obviously, it was illegal for gay people to get married. It was illegal to cross-dress. It was illegal to serve alcohol to gay people, which I did not know. And so at that point, I guess especially in New York City, a lot of the gay bars were owned by the mafia because they didn't really care about breaking laws. And they saw it as a way, easy way to make money by serving that part of the community that wasn't being served elsewhere, because gay bars were not allowed to have liquor licenses. Or, well, not that they weren't allowed, but you couldn't use it, obviously, legally. And so quite often those bars would get raided by the police. People would be, questioned, harassed, arrested. And on June 28th, the patrons of the Stonewall Inn had enough and started to fight back. And it kicked off a week of protests and demonstrations, and really kind of I wouldn't say started the civil rights movement for LGBT people, but it was, they say, a galvanizing moment. And one of the most prominent members was Marsha P. Johnson, who was a self-described drag queen who was there that night and later on went on to form, let me get the names correct here, hang on one second, the Gay Liberation Front, and co-founded the radical activist group Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries in order to, fight for rights for gays and lesbians, transgender people, and just anyone essentially who was outside of the, seen as the norm and kind of oppressed at that time. Unfortunately, Marsha was, we'll go ahead and say, killed. At the time, they called it a suicide. Early 1992, they found her body floating in the river, and they immediately ruled it. Yeah, immediately ruled it a suicide. But much later, they kind of reopened it as undetermined, and I think just recently actually reclassified it as a potential homicide. But obviously, it's kind of late to be investigating and try to punish anybody for that. But again, she was a Black drag queen who was very active in the civil rights movement for gay and lesbian people, and started off at Stonewall in 1969, June 28th.
We could do a whole channel on the heinous things that this government has done to oppress their citizens, their own citizens, right? In particular, Black and Hispanic people in this country, and it is historic. And I mean, really, they don't even try to hide it now, right? Like they didn't try to hide it back then. They're just starting to acknowledge it now, because so what are you gonna do about it, right? That's their attitude about it. But it's important to tell these stories and remind people just exactly what this government is capable of. And when we talk about how much we love our country and the good old days and all that stuff, it's a reminder that it wasn't good for everybody else. And our experiences are different experiences depending on how you grew up, and people should recognize that. So
yes, and if you do want to learn more, there was a documentary that came out in 2017 entitled "The Death and Life of Marsha P. Johnson."
All right, okay. So what do we want to start with? Little Panthers talk.
Yeah, we can start with the Panthers. I mean, this is also Ravens talk if you really think about it.
Yes, Panthers. Are they going to sign?
DeAndre
Hopkins.
Baltimore does not seem very interested in DeAndre Hopkins. I
No.
haven't heard their name involved. He hasn't gone to visit them. He did go and visit New England, right? But earlier today, New England extended Devontae Parker 3 years, $33 million with 14 guaranteed. So you would think that maybe they're out on DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
Maybe that takes them out of the running. But one of the teams who was mentioned as still being in the mix was the Carolina Panthers. And I know a lot of people would look at that and say, why would he sign in Carolina? If he wants a top defense, a top quarterback, a chance to win, all this stuff, right? And part of that's true. They don't have a top defense. They have a lot of defensive talent. They don't have a top quarterback, but they have the number 1 overall pick, Bryce Young, who looks like he could be a special player. But I think most importantly, they play in the NFC South. And DeAndre Hopkins ending up in Carolina takes what was already a good shot at winning the division to almost a lock.
Yes. Also, he has a relationship with one of the coaches there, right?
Yes. What's his name? Bobby Ingram, the former. He was a wide receiver coach for DeAndre Hopkins previously. He's now a coach on Carolina staff, so he does have connections there. And it seems like the market is a little softer for him than many people anticipated, but that's been the case league wide. The owners are trying to prove a point by not paying free agents anywhere near what they're worth.
Right.
So that could work out in Carolina's favor. And I don't want to get my hopes up because a lot of times these things get reported and they don't happen. You'll end up in Buffalo or whatever, and then I'll just be mad. But if you look at Carolina's roster again, they have Adam Thielen, who has been a very good receiver, but is on the downside now. And his production has tailed off significantly the last couple of years. DJ Chark has been injured nearly every season of his career. And then you're looking at a rookie in Jonathan Mingo and a very unproven player in Terrace Marshall. So, he steps in as the clear-cut number 1 receiver day one, and he's going to get all the targets he can handle in Carolina.
Yeah.
They have a big need at an edge opposite of Brian Burns. But I think that if you're Carolina, you go for the talent in DeAndre Hopkins over just checking a box on the roster and going and getting whatever edge rusher is available at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. I also want to point out that Bobby Ingram also used to be a wide receiver coach for the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
But DeAndre Hopkins wasn't available then when he was here. So whatever.
Apparently nobody was.
Yeah. Right. So Jeremy asked a question, do the Panthers or does D-Hop want to win a ring or just a team to sign with? I don't think signing with the Panthers means he doesn't want to win a ring. They're not anybody's favorite right now to win. But let me ask you guys this. If Bryce Young turns out to be that guy, like what can't they what can't they do?
Right.
If they got D-Hop and Bryce Young turns out to be like really good, you got D-Hop, Adam Thielen, all right, and if Mingo turns out to be anything else, that's a lot of firepower there. Okay, well, and they have a solid O line. At least we think right now they're gonna have a pretty solid O line.
And it's June. How many people had the Eagles in the Super Bowl last year?
True.
There are surprise teams every single season. Why couldn't it be Carolina?
Yeah, and the answer is he wants his money. That's the answer for everybody. Don't get it twisted. Everybody wants their money.
Yes,
everybody. The ones that say, "What's up, DDSQ? Thanks for coming through, man." The ones that are just like, "Oh, I just want to win." That's because they've already gotten their money,
and they don't mean that either. They want their money.
I mean, they want both, no doubt. There are players that want to win, but you can pay me too. And you brought up something else that I wanted to discuss, right? Yes, it looks like the owners are trying to kind of freeze out these players a little bit, right? Not that they're trying to hold the line and not really pay players. Do you think this is something that will hold up? Do you think this will work in their favor down the road?
The owners trying to screw the players out of money every year in free agency? No. I don't think that's something that's going to pay off for them in the long run. Now, I mean, granted, the NFL Players Union is the weakest of them all.
It is,
but at some point, they've got to stand up and fight for themselves, right? I think at some point.
I think, they're trying to keep the cost down, but trying to nickel and dime players at the top of their game, I don't think that's going to work, right? Because D-Hop's not getting the contract that he wants. He's not going to sign a long-term deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Same thing, with the running back situation. We discussed that. Yes, running backs are devalued right now, but that pendulum's going to swing the other way because, they're just flooded with talent. Running backs are flooded with talent right now. So, there's a lot to pick from. But when that talent starts to shorten a little bit, you don't have as many guys trying to play running back and they want to play other positions, and you're going to have that need. You're going to have to pay a premium for them.
Yeah, you're already seeing the beginnings of that. I think a lot of guys who would otherwise want to play running back are looking at wide receiver, right? Potentially, and you have guys who are essentially running backs playing that, like Curtis Samuel was kind of that way. Deebo Samuel's looked at that way. Even Jonathan Mingo a little bit. And like you said, when the talent goes away from the running back position, and defenses are continually trying to get faster, lighter, and all that, you will see the premium go back up on running backs. I mean, look at Carolina last year. Deonta Foreman isn't any kind of a special running back by any stretch of the imagination, but he came out and he played very, very well for Carolina last year. He played very well for Tennessee the year before that, right?
Yeah.
And that's why there are a few teams who are kind of going that route in saying, you know what, everybody's playing the pass, everybody's building their team to pass, everybody's building their team to play, to defend the pass. We're going to be power run. Yeah. And you still have to be able to throw the ball. And that's kind of where those teams have stumbled, in Baltimore and San Francisco. Like, they just don't have the quarterbacks to get it done. But at some point, you're going to get the team with the proper mix.
Yeah, yeah. And salute to DDSQ for the 420 donation. Appreciate it. It says,
thank you.
I hate that the NFL has convinced the fans that a player that wants to get paid their worth doesn't care about winning when the league makes $16 to $18 billion in revenue a year. Yeah. He's absolutely right. Like, the player, it's like they have to decide winning or money, right? And if they want to get the most they can, then he doesn't care about winning. But he's the one putting his body on the line. Yeah. The owners aren't, right? They don't have the real skin in the game, right? It's the players. So if the players, I don't care if a player says, I don't really care about winning, I just want to get paid. That's fine. Yeah. As long as you're going out there and doing your job, and if you win, cool, right? I don't care about that either. You should want as much money as you can, especially in this sport.
Yeah, how many people really care about the success of their workplace beyond them being able to pay you what you're worth?
Right.
You don't care if you're whatever retail store you're at is selling more than they did the year before, as long as you're getting the money that you want to get out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my boy Noah. I brought his comment up earlier, man. Long time no see. Yes, indeed, man.
What is up, Noah?
Always happy to see you, man. Glad you're doing well, man. So I mean that's all.
Hop in that Discord. You got some explaining to do, Noah. My goodness.
So, I mean, what do you think the chances are that they actually sign D-Hop?
I think that the chances are pretty decent if it is true that the Patriots are out, which is what it seemed like by going and extending Devontae Parker. At that point, why not? Right? Like, if Buffalo has cap issues or money availability issues. And it's probably the same in Kansas City. They're probably not offering him what he feels like he's worth. Baltimore's not calling. Why wouldn't it be Carolina? Carolina can pay you. You said you have a young quarterback who could end up being the best quarterback he's ever played with in a very weak division.
Yeah. So D-Hop makes sense on most teams.
Yeah.
Not most teams, every team. I don't even care if they're stacked a wide receiver. You can find room for a D-Hop on your team.
Right.
So yeah, that'd be great for the Panthers. And again, if you're a Ravens fan, you have to look at this and say, hey man, what are we doing? If we're trying to make a free agency move, this is the type of move that you want to make. Don't worry about what it's going to cost cap wise. Like don't worry about that. If it's possible, if they can make it happen, then you make it happen. Go and get that talent, because otherwise he will end up going to a team. Nobody's looking at the Panthers right now as a contender, but these are the type of moves that will make you a contender.
Yes.
Right. And I'd rather he be here than somewhere else. And speaking of, do we want to go over to the other talent that we're talking about that the Ravens are just looks like they're just skipping out on?
Sure. As soon as I update a headline.
Sure. Well, don't worry, I'll filibuster. So look, this obviously since this is a Ravens and Panthers heavy channel. Okay, B's a Panthers fan. I'm a Ravens fan. Obviously, seeing D-Hop go to the Panthers, if it's not the Ravens, that'd be ideal. Okay, but if he ended up in Kansas City, that would I would be a little dejected by that. If he ended up going to the Bills or another contender, I would really hate to see that.
What if he joined Dalvin Cook in Miami?
That's another thing, because Dalvin Cook talked about wanting to play with DeAndre Hopkins. The Dolphins just made an offer to Dalvin Cook. Now, we talked about D-Hop being able to go to any team. They are pretty stacked at wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
that is the one team which is like, yeah.
Well, look, I'll say this. They have a great 1 and 2.
Yes.
I wouldn't say they're stacked beyond those two. So like if you look at it and say, hey, we want to run 3 wide receivers every down, then there you go.
There's no negative to putting DeAndre Hopkins on that team.
No.
Right. But Dalvin Cook, we talked about him coming to the Ravens, and I know a lot of Ravens fans are like, nah, we got J.K. Dobbins, we got Gus Edwards. I hear you. And I love J.K. Dobbins. B can attest to that. I love J.K. Dobbins. I actually think J.K. Dobbins could be one of the top running backs in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But he's not Dalvin Cook. Right. And maybe he could turn into that, but he hasn't proven it. I like guys that have proven it. Dalvin Cook has proven it. I don't think he's over the hill. Right. I don't think he's lost it. I think he's still Dalvin Cook. And we don't have to choose between Dalvin Cook and J.K. Dobbins. It can be Dalvin Cook and J.K. Dobbins getting busy out there. Gus, you're the odd man out. And I like Gus Edwards a lot too. But there's no debate that if we bring in somebody like Dalvin Cook, Gus can, he can be the third back, I guess, but we don't need Gus at that point. He doesn't fit into that equation. So, yes, bring Dalvin Cook. But even if you're saying no, we don't really want to spend money there, how would you feel if he went to the Dolphins? Does that make you feel better? Are you sitting there saying, well, hey, whatever, they want to waste their money, fine, but I like what we have over here. I don't like that.
Especially when you're saying Dalvin Cook going to the Mike McDaniel offense, which is the Kyle Shanahan offense, essentially, right? And you know what Dalvin Cook can do in less than ideal circumstances. What do you think he's going to do with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle on the outside, and Mike McDaniel designing the run game?
Yeah.
It's not going to be pretty if you're not a Dolphins fan.
Yeah. And Jeremy, Tyreek Hill is not in any trouble. They had some small investigation of assault, but they've already dismissed that, I believe. So he's not in any trouble. He's going to be out there playing. And even if he wasn't, again, okay, let's just say the off chance Tyreek Hill is going to miss some time for off the field issues. Okay, they still have what's the other
Jalen
one?
Waddle.
They have Jalen Waddle, and they could easily sign D-Hop. So then, what did they miss? D-Hop, Jalen Waddle, and Dalvin Cook. No, thank you. No, thank you. Okay, that's you don't want a team that's competing to add more to it, guys. They beat us last year. We were up by like 30 points in the fourth quarter, and they erased that.
Sure did.
Okay, I don't want to see that again. And
but don't worry, that only happened because the guys who are going to be competing for your cornerback 2 spot were in the game.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. If the Ravens don't do anything else, I still like our chances of winning. But these other teams stacking up, they're not going to make it easy. Okay, and if he goes to the Dolphins, it's going to be that much harder. So no, I don't want to see this. Bring Dalvin Cook to the Ravens.
And they just signed Chosen Anderson as well to go along with Cedric Wilson, who's another one of their backup receivers. So not bad backup receivers.
Chosen Robbie.
Yes, Chosen Robbie Anderson.
Speaking of Chosen, the Chosen one has entered our show. B. Mr. Coach Evans from Sip to Tally Films and more Sip to Tally Films. What is going on, Coach?
Not much, man. How y'all doing?
Hey, thanks for coming through. Good. Coach, this is perfect time, man. Well, first I want to get your thoughts. Let's give Coach his thoughts on Dalvin Cook getting an offer from the Dolphins. How do you feel about him possibly joining Miami?
You always want to go back home and play for your hometown team. He probably in some way, shape, or form was a Dolphins fan growing up in Miami, and you always want to go home and play in front of your friends and family. You can get more. I mean, the love for you in front of your hometown, where you play high school ball at, that's going to be crazy. And to go home and win a championship, and potentially win a championship in Miami, your hometown is going to be crazy. So I'm sure he'd love to go there. And he, and I don't know if you guys are going to talk about this, but he's probably linked to another guy. They potentially going to go to the same spot. So
D-Hop.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That'd be scary.
It's already scary.
I would be sick to my stomach unless they both came to Baltimore. But if they went anywhere else, I would throw up. All right, Coach. I'm glad you're here because I love what you're doing over there on More Sip to Tally. Guys, go subscribe to More Sip to Tally. Okay. You're doing 32 teams in 32 days. Okay. Mm-hmm. Power rankings, ranking all the teams in the NFL. Everybody loves rankings. Okay. Everybody loves rankings. Most of them are bad. Okay. But this right here, I challenge everybody at the beginning of the show to find a better ranking system than yours. It was a trap because they're not going to find one. Okay. This is hands down the best ranking system, period. All right. But I want to let you discuss that. And I want to kind of go over the teams that you have done up until this point.
All right. So what I did was I took and I tried to do 5 offensive skill sets and 5 defensive, but I ran into a little problem. So the 5 offensive skill sets I got is quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, O-line. And I wanted to balance it out by doing 5 for the defense. And I started out with D-line, edge, linebacker, safety, and corners. But with that edge and D-line, it just wasn't working out.
Right.
So I ended up putting them together. And so I got 5 offensive and 4 defensive, and it just made it a lot easier because, well, not a lot easier. It was hard anyway. And so I ranked each position group 1 to 32. So I took the quarterbacks and ranked them 1 to 32. Took the running backs, ranked them 1 to 32, so forth and so on. And then I averaged them all out. And so each team has an average. And then I, based on where the average is, that's where your rank is, 32 to 1. And that's what you're starting to see on More Sip to Tally. So it took a minute. It was the most stressful part was the D-line and edge group. Now, the quarterbacks, the running backs, the receiver stuff took a minute because, there are so many of those guys. The O-line groups was hard, but you kind of know who the better rushing teams are. You can kind of put that together. And then with me, it helped that I did the college stuff too. So I kind of know who picked up the better O lineman because once you get past like the second or third round with O line groups, the rest of them are trash. And every now and then you'll find a good O lineman you'll find a good 6th round receiver every now and then, but you ain't gonna find those 6th round O linemen.
Right.
They pretty much gonna be 3rd round on up. So you got a good idea of who the good O linemen good O linemen are. But that's what I'm doing. And I'm right now I'm on tomorrow will be number 29. And I did like you said earlier, 32, 31, and 30. And so I'm just trying to, put it out there and not, like I said, I think on the first one, like Stephen A. Smith, there are no assistants helping. Well, there's one assistant helping to my right. But it was just me and her and putting out there. Mostly me. She did some stuff when I got frustrated. But
okay.
It is what it is, man. It's raw, it's authentic, and it's the best I can give you.
Now, look, right out the gate, you came with a 5, okay? Because number 32, nobody was expecting that to be 32. Okay. The LA Rams, you have as the worst ranked team. Let's talk about that for a minute. How did they get the worst ranked label?
Honestly, when I looked at it and put it all on paper, they lost. I'm gonna say they lost so much that when you look at them on defense, Ramsey gone, Wagner gone. All they got on defense really is
Aaron Donald.
And what bagged it up, what really made me happy to see was the very next day when I put that out, Brent Coleman came out with his stuff about the LA Rams, and he said they had 32 or 36 rookies, and that really, to me, that authenticated what I was saying. They had 4. Remember last year we had 14 picks and we used them all.
Yeah,
the Rams had 14 picks and they used them all, and they're expecting all 14 people to play because they shot and won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So now they're reaping what they sold for F them picks, so to speak.
Yeah.
And they're probably fine with that. Like
and most of them are.
Yeah, it looks similar to what Carolina was, and except I don't think it was intentional in Carolina. But they had Cam Newton on the offense, they had Luke Kuechly on defense, and you had those are two elite players, two superstar players that were just holding up their side of the ball, and there was some talent sprinkled in here and there, but it was really a bad roster being held up by a few players with top end talent. And like you said, the Rams, they probably looked at Stafford that way. Obviously they've got Cooper Kupp, and they got Aaron Donald, they had Jalen Ramsey, and then now they don't. Right?
Yeah.
And he mentioned also that the Bucs are doing the same thing. The Bucs in that same situation. They went all in with Tom, and they're gonna cycle through talent and whatnot. But with the Rams being that last team, they got so many. Like, just think about their cornerbacks. They got Jacoby Durant. How many people know who Jacoby Durant is? How many people know what even school he went to?
Right.
Jacoby Durant's a MEAC player from South Carolina State. Who's a starting corner for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that because you mentioned them to me before. I didn't know who he was until you told me about him. So
then their linebacking core is nobody. All you know is, like, if I had to coach this against the Rams, I'm running the ball almost every play, and I'm just running wherever Aaron Donald is not. And I'm almost gonna guarantee you I'm gonna win.
Yeah. And who's the quarterback right now?
It's still Stafford.
If he can keep himself upright.
Right.
That's the one thing they had going for him: Stafford and Cooper Kupp, I guess.
And that's it.
That's it.
Van Jefferson's their number 2. They got a number 3 receiver who was their number 1 most of the year last year, and Tutu Atwell was their number 2 for most of the year.
Yeah.
But I'll say this: if your ranking holds up, they've put themselves in a pretty good spot, right? Because now they do own their first round pick this coming year.
Yes.
And you've got Caleb Williams, you got Drake May, and there's a couple other guys who are going to work their way into that discussion, but they'll be able to find their QB of the future and kind of reset.
Well, I'm like Mike. I think they got their QB of the future already.
Who?
Oh,
Who?
Even though Stetson Bennett and
Stetson
what's called the same age, but I think they got their QB of the future already.
The QB of the very immediate future. They can draft their QB of the long-term future.
Stetson Bennett and Sean McVay the same age.
Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up with Caleb Williams. Right? Yeah. This is what good organizations do. They take calculated risks. Mm-hmm. They won a Super Bowl. They know when to dump their salary and just be bad for a year and then re-up. Because they go and get Caleb Williams, they're back.
Right.
Everything that they may not be instantly Super Bowl contenders, but everything will start to fall into place after that.
And honestly, if they're terrible this year, if they're smart, they dump Aaron Donald for some more picks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because he's getting ready to retire anyway.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Let Aaron Donald go to a contender where he can potentially get him another ring. Mm-hmm. And get them some more picks, and they really restart their run again.
Oh man, the rich get richer. Okay, this is how you do it.
But for right now, they 32.
Yes, right now they're 32. 31. Noah, cover your ears. Cover your ears, Noah.
This was actually more surprising to me than the Rams.
I told y'all, yes, I previewed it. I said a lot of people not gonna like 31.
31.
Oh, I liked it. I was just surprised.
The Detroit Lions are 31.
That's what they get for letting that second grader draw their new helmet.
Coach, what happened to the Lions? They finished so strong. How did they end up 31?
Well, I took out. They got rid of both of their rushers. Their number two, what I think is their number two receiver suspended for 6 or 8 games, or so to speak.
Jameson 6, yeah.
Jameson 6 games. Their O-line is good. And I know their O-line is really good. I got their O-line ranked number 3 out of 32 teams. I really like their O-line. You don't know what you're gonna get out of Jared Goff.
Yeah.
You have no idea what you're gonna get out of Jared Goff. Defensively, they got 2 good ends. Them guys in the middle, you don't know.
Right.
You just don't know. They drafted a lot of people like the guy they took in the first round, the linebacker. I don't.
Oh, yeah. Is it Campbell? Jack Campbell?
Yeah, Campbell. I don't like him. I don't. I like Rodriguez. I don't like Campbell. Mm-hmm. And then on the back end, they got CJ Gardner Johnson, but I think he's about to fall. He's to that point where he's about to fall off the cliff. Gotcha. And I just don't like what they got in the secondary. And it's mainly the defense why they got them so low, because they do have James Houston and Aiden Hutchinson, but I think Houston had 8 sacks in 7 games. But the thing is with Houston, I think he's in that same boat with Ojabo. Did Ojabo get all that shine because Hutchinson was on the other side? So I'm putting Houston in that same boat. Did Houston get all that shine in those games because Hutchinson was on the same side? Because Hutchinson had 9.5 sacks in 17 games. Houston had 8 sacks in 7 games. Right. Was it because the focus was on Hutchinson?
Right.
We don't know. So but I just don't. I think them getting rid of Jamal and DeAndre Swift is gonna hurt them. But if they have success with a rookie running back, how much worse is it going to be for these established backs to try to get contracts? Because they took 2 good running backs, 2 established running backs, and said, go do something else. We're going to run it back with this rookie behind a good old line.
Yeah.
Well, I think part of it depends because, DeAndre did go to Philly. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if he goes over to Philly, he blows up, that might counteract whatever happens with Gibbs in Detroit,
But Philly got a good line too, though.
Yeah, but then it'll just be, hey, bad team making bad decision. Right. Yeah. But we'll see. I think, Jameer going to go for like 2,400 yards, I think.
Did you draft him in your? Is he
on touchdowns?
Is he on your fantasy football team?
If you want some of that, you can hit me up in the Dynasty League and we can talk. But
yeah.
Don't forget, we got a draft Friday too. Don't forget.
That's right.
How could I forget with how you did me in that draft, Coach?
I did not do that. That was the computer. I made sure I screenshot it and it said random.
Never picked so low in my life.
I like
pick early in the second round.
I'm gonna pick in the middle of the second round. It's the worst spot to be in.
I think because the O-line is so strong, right? I think you that's how you build a team from the line out, offense and defense. Because the O line so strong, it allows them to it allows your team to do a whole lot when your O line can just build a wall around the quarterback and open up holes for the running back. You don't have to be as talented there, but you're right, Jared Goff, man. I mean, that is the quarterback that you need to build a wall around for sure, for sure.
A great wall.
If he can put, just keep it together for a little bit, they can be competitive. I think because all the things that you said, Jameson Williams having a suspension, you have, you got rid of both of your running backs. They are going to struggle coming out the gate. And possibly when everybody comes back and they start to get a little cohesive down the stretch, you can see a similar run to what they did last year, but it'll be too late. Right.
Now, the positive form is Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yes.
He is the truth. And I didn't realize that cat can play.
Yeah.
Over 100 catches. I think about 12 or 1,100 yards. That cat can go get it. And him with a healthy, well, he'll be healthy, but whenever he gets back, Jameson, and then you slide Khalif Raymond in there, they'll be good in that division. But again, that suspension is gonna hurt him. And it's probably gonna take him 2, 3, 4 games to get his feet up under him from being suspended. And that's the middle of the season by then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jameson Williams is that guy. Like I said, him being out, excuse me. I kind of feel like the Cinderella story that they're all expecting in Detroit is going to fall apart this season. That coach, I forget his name now, the offensive coordinator who. Oh no, the offensive coordinator. He interviewed in Carolina too. They thought he was going to take the job. I cannot remember now. Ben Johnson, I believe.
Ben Johnson, yeah.
Him going back, I think, is probably going to turn around and be a bad decision for him. Like you said, getting rid of your established players in the backfield. And the real thing, we talked about it on this show before, like that offseason was going to be kind of make or break for that front office and coaching staff, where you're they had the choice of, are we going to ride with Jared Goff, or are we going to, go out there and make a change and get a guy with a higher ceiling? And they chose poorly.
They do have Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, he'll be back when he's 27 and just in time for that decline.
They picked freaking Campbell in the first round.
They sure did. They sure did.
Yeah.
Well, and listen, I like Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's a very good player. I think he's an extremely talented player. But not only did they take their off-ball linebacker in the teens, they took a running back in the top 10. And the running back, I mean, I like Jack Campbell as a player, but the running back wasn't even a position of need.
Right.
So I did not love their draft. Didn't love their offseason.
And why are you doing it? You doing it to save money? Okay, what are you saving money for? What'd you pick up? You know what I'm saying? You just did this to save money. Those are bad moves. I hate when people say, "Oh, well, they get a cheaper running back." All right, so what are you saving money for? What did you go and get? Did you go and sign a D-Hop? Are you signing? Are you trading for what's his name, Chase Young? Are you trying to get better, or are you just trying to pinch pennies? Because that's not how you build your team.
That's a zig when I zag move. That's a straight line.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's one of those people that think they can cross you up on a court and they fall over.
They cross themselves. Right.
All right. Number 30.
Mm-hmm.
This was more around what I thought they would be.
This is a win for them. I thought they'd be 32.
Yeah. I thought them and Atlanta would be battling for last place. But number 30, the Arizona Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How did they beat out the Rams and the Lions?
Well, I'm assuming that Kyler did not factor into this for their ranking this season, correct? Because he's going to miss most of the season, it looks like.
And now that I think about it, I kind of forgot about that injury for him. Yeah. And that's why they're higher than they are.
No.
Because
Kyler.
Yeah, with Kyler. Yeah. It's with Kyler. I forgot about that. How he's gonna be out most of the season.
Oh, Buck, I'm sorry.
As a matter of fact, when looking back on, because I watched the video today, I spent good 6 minutes with Kyler right beside my face talking about it. I forgot. I didn't even mention the fact that Kyler was out because I forgot about it.
Oh no!
But
Oh,
yes,
no.
Kyler being there is why they are where they at.
Yeah.
Now you had Kyler ranked 14th amongst quarterbacks.
I like Kyler Murray.
Me too.
I like what he can do outside the pocket, but like I said, I forgot that he was out for as long as he's out. I like Kyler Murray. I'm just gonna hit the positives and why they up there. I like Kyler Murray. I like Buda Baker. I like Isaiah Simmons, and they're like percentage points in front of the Rams and Lions. It's not like they had these great numbers. They put them ahead of the Rams. These last 3 to 4 teams, they're like percentage points in front of each other. It's like say if the Lions didn't have that good old line, that probably would have moved them back, further. Like that good old line put them in front of the Rams,
right?
Or something. If Buda Baker wasn't on the Cardinals team, they might have been
right because he had asked for he had asked out essentially.
He did ask out.
If they're going to honor that, but
exactly. So it's the last 3 or 4 teams, they percentage points by each other. So it's not much separating them. So it's like a toss up. But I did forget if I had remembered he was out as long as he is, they probably would have been 32 now. I think about it. I forgot he was out probably half the season. Honestly.
I can't believe my man said on the strength of having a franchise quarterback, you are 30th.
It is.
I'm still a Hollywood Brown fan. I still like Hollywood Brown. I mean, he's not great, but I think pretty good. And yes, Kyle's gonna miss a good chunk of the season, but when he gets healthy, him and Hollywood, they're gonna have some success out there.
And Hollywood's really in the same situation he came from, because he's the number 1 guy now, and they don't really have much behind him, but they got a good tight end. Yeah, like it's him, Rondale Moore, and they got Zach Ertz and Trey McBride as a second tight end. That's really what they got offensively, and they got James Conner as a running back. Yeah. So as far as quarterbacks, they got the same dude that played with him in Baltimore, McSorley. McSorley. They got David Blau, and they got what's the old dude that played at Texas? Colt McCoy. So Hollywood's probably in a worse situation.
Think about it. He don't look a day over 24 still.
Please don't call him old because I was a grown ass man when he was in college.
Hollywood's in a worse situation.
He's still a kid to me.
Yeah. He probably wish he had stayed now.
Hey, listen.
He still ain't got paid yet.
That's why he needs to go out there and ball out this year. I think Kyler not being out there, he can show his value just by going out there and just being professional and playing well when Kyler gets back. Try to be 1,000-yard wide receiver this year, get your money, and then and stay there. Because look, they're not going to be a great team, obviously, but a big part of it is Kyler being hurt, and they have some shuffling around to do. They can change that in the offseason.
It's an interesting thought. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. I was going to say, yes, it's going to be a tough year for them, but this is where you earn your money.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting thought. You say you probably wishes he was still in Baltimore, and it's like if he had not complained so publicly, right? Maybe some of the other guys don't follow suit. And this offseason, do they really go through that transformation and getting rid of Roman, bringing in Odell, drafting another receiver? Because, you can still point at him and be like, hey, we got Hollywood and Bateman. All we need is to get rid of Steve Saunders and we're all good, right?
Maybe not.
I don't wonder.
He might have been the first domino. You're right. He might have been the first domino. But to Jose's point, if he can go out and get 1,000, 1,100 yards with that trash at quarterback, he might be in for a good payday.
And he'll get the targets. It won't be for lack of opportunity. He'll get the targets.
He may not get the targets because they O-line trash too.
Oh yeah. He might have to go out.
He might have to resort to running hitches again to get the catches.
Yeah. Back to blocking, I guess. All right. So tomorrow is number 29. 29. All right.
I mean, how many weeks am I gonna have to wait to see Carolina? I don't like that. All right, well, but okay, I know you don't want to give it away. I understand. But give me a little preview of, let's say, the tier. I guess, 1 to 10 would be tier 1, 11 to 20, tier 2, below that tier 3.
He can't give anything.
No. I'm saying, what tier did you put Bryce Young in? Being that he's a rookie, you don't really have anything to go off, in terms of his NFL.
I'll say this for all the rookie quarterbacks,
mm-hmm.
I pretty much put them in the same tier, and I didn't give them any stock, any of them. I treated them as if they haven't done anything in the NFL. So like
Carolina's 32 at quarterback.
No, like for real, I now the three main guys, Bryce, Richardson, and CJ. All in my mind, I got them as starters, but I treated them as if they haven't done anything. So I didn't put one above the other, but I do have them as starting, and I treated them as like they got zero stats, which they do. But I do have them in my mind as starters. Okay. But I didn't say CJ gonna be better than Anthony or Anthony's gonna be better than Bryce. I just they are one flat line, but I do have them as starters.
Yeah.
Okay. But I do have what's called them as worse than all three of them. Will Levis.
Will Levis taking a lot of hits this offseason, and he ain't even put the pads on yet, man. That's not cool.
He should take hits from putting mayo in coffee.
He said it was a dare.
No, yeah, he should have whatever the dare was. He should have did the dare.
He need to peel them bananas though. That's not cool.
All right, listen. You guys need to watch every day. He's going to unveil another team every day. All right. You like this breakdown? I know you do. No, look, if you click on any of those clickbaity, the top 32 teams or power ranking things, and they give you no context, no real context to why they have them ranked, is don't waste your time with that. You're gonna feel a lot more fulfilled about where your team is ranked. Okay. You look at this one. Chris White says Mayo, the caucasity. Yes. So no, every team, even if I know Noah is hurt because he likes the Lions, but how he breaks down why they're ranked there, you can respect that.
That's the key, is why. It ain't just a random. It ain't just thrown out there. It's a why to it. It's a method to it, and it's. I feel like it's completely unbiased. Mm-hmm. I feel like that, but
no, absolutely, you can respect it. So you're not going to find anything better out there. I promise you. No matter where your team is on here, whether you like it or you don't like it, you can understand and respect the work that's gone into it. And again, this is preseason rankings. Okay, so don't take it to heart. Okay, coach is breaking down the concerns that he has with them, the positives with the team, where they need to improve, and if they improve in those places, obviously they can jump up, further in the rankings.
The fine print reads that when D-Hop and Dalvin Cook finds a home, the rankings won't change. Too much work went into it, but while they didn't have a team, I am not changing it when they find one. Sorry.
There you go.
It is etched in stone. So if they find a team, like if they find a team that I'd already done, I'm not going back. If they find a team that I have yet to do, like if they find a team next week and it's all right, sorry, it ain't going up.
Listen,
it is what it is.
I'm gonna tell you guys something. There's always a way. Okay, he's saying no, but maybe he gets an influx of subscribers over on More Sip to Tally. Maybe there's an influx of patrons, requesting it, right? Maybe hearts and minds change a little bit. All right. So listen, do yourself a favor. I know you guys are already subscribed to Sip to Tally. You better be. I already know that. But there's only one thing that's better than Sip to Tally. More Sip to Tally. Go over there. More Sip to Tally. That's easy to remember. This is where you can find these videos. Okay, every day you need to be tuned in. You guys are looking for something in the off season. Yep. This is it right here.
It'll take you to camp start.
I said a reminder. 6 o'clock.
Yep.
6 o'clock. Okay. These when the videos are set, you'll see who's unveiled and why they're ranked there. Okay. So more Sip to Tally. Hit the subscribe button right now. Go over to patreon.com/sip to tally. Okay. And sign up for a tier. I don't have my chalice in front of me, but you get a nice chalice for the gunslinger tier. There you go.
Shout out
All
to
right.
Pete Brown III.
And this is a requirement. You're gonna need that chalice for the season, because after every Ravens game, we're going to toast. Okay. For every win. All right. So
them sorrows.
Hey, we're gonna toast to Panthers wins too.
That's right.
That's right.
Coach, do you want to hang around, or you gotta go? Or?
Well, I was gonna hang around, but I got equipment failure. Like, that's why I'm holding the mic now. So it just happens. If I let it go, it's gonna fall. So
okay, real quick, just let
let
everybody know. I mean, I told everybody about Sip to Tally, more Sip to Tally. Anything else you want
to? You can find me on Twitter at Coach Evans9. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Sip to Tally, and YouTube Sip to Tally and more Sip to Tally. I appreciate everybody for the subscriptions, and make sure you follow me for the next 29 days for the what they call it, more Sip to Tally Power Rankings. I guess that's the official name. I stumbled upon that name today.
Now, Coach, I hit you up at the last minute about this, but we plan on just kind of recapping why this is going on the show. So I'm gonna send you the invite if you can make it cool.
Yeah, that's cool. We'll make it a Wednesday thing. That's
okay.
Cool. Make it a Wednesday thing, and I'll follow through.
Right. Coach, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one.
All right. All right, man. I hope you guys enjoyed that, because listen, you got to go. If you haven't watched the videos, I'm telling you, you have to watch the videos. All right. You guys watch those top 100 players on NFL Network. You click on those top 32 lists and all that stuff. I get it, because it's something to do, but this right here is going to give you some real context, and it's something that you need to get through the offseason. Yeah. So, yes, the next 29 days or 30 days, no, 29. Next 29 days, he's going to unveil the rest of the teams. That's more Sip to Tally is where you can go and watch that. Okay. All right. What do we have next?
We've got our submitted questions for the week. We have a few questions here. We'll start off with this one from Marco G. Do you think Ravens should extend JK after this season, or let him walk and draft a running back?
Okay, so it depends on what we do this season. If we sign Dalvin Cook, then JK can walk. And, that's tough for me to say because I love JK Dobbins. If they don't make any moves whatsoever, I know B is going to say let him walk. He's going to ask for too much money.
That's not right.
I would say, I would say sign him. If he's playing up to the level I think he can play to. Oh, good God, Ferris. Ferris with the $50 donation. Thank you, Ferris. We don't want to sound ungrateful. Thank you, but we know your motives here. He just says hello. Okay. Ferris wants to reestablish. He wants to reestablish his dominance in the point ranking. Okay. Thank you, Ferris. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Ozell, it's on you, man. Look, you get 2 more tickets and you in first.
So listen, people are saying no. You're saying no because he's going to cost too much, or he's going to eat up a lot of cap. My question is, what are you going to do with the money? Mm-hmm. This comes down to if J.K. Dobbins plays like Dalvin Cook. This is because I feel like he has that ability, right? If he goes out there and has an amazing year, why wouldn't you want to re-sign him, right? We got another donation from Anonymous. Oh my goodness! All right, thank you for a $50 donation. It says, you. My motives are pure.
I don't know whose motives Anonymous is referring to though.
Thank you, Anonymous. Thank you so much for the donations. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Update. It's gonna be 3 tickets.
Jeremy, I see you checking your points as well. You are about 95 points short of meeting that threshold. You need 1,000 points to meet the threshold for our random giveaway. Okay, you only need 1,000 points for the random giveaway. If you're trying to be in the hunt, and don't worry about catching Anonymous or Ferris or Bazel, right? Don't worry about that. You don't have to spend any money at all. All you have to do is go over to LBHTShow.com and sign up for our newsletter. Okay, go over there and do that, and you get a easy 1,000 points. It costs you nothing. All right, and the newsletter is going to be dope. Okay, we haven't released it yet, but it's coming soon. That's an easy way to get yourself some points. And once you go over there and you sign up, shoot us an email or a DM, wherever, and just say, hey, signed up. Here's my email, and we get assigned the points to you. All right, that's how we'll do it. Okay, so J.K. Dobbins, I say if he plays up to a level I think he can play, I say sign him, because if we're not, what are we doing with the money? I listen. I'm pocket watching the Ravens very closely moving forward. I'm counting their pockets. What are you doing with the money?
Yeah.
Don't sit on it. If you're just saving the money, I need to see what you're spending it on. If you're not spending on anything, I'm going to criticize you. So pay J.K. Dobbins. That's my stance on it. B, what's your take?
Look, I like J.K. Dobbins, so I think he's extremely talented, very, very talented. And like I said, I think he could be one of the better running backs in the league if Baltimore, if he stays healthy and Baltimore gives him the carries. As of right now, I would say no to giving him a long-term deal, because having Lamar Jackson makes it much easier on your running back. And you don't necessarily need that uber talented guy. You don't need to spend a lot. I shouldn't say that you don't need the talent. You don't need to spend at that position. That money, like I said, it can go elsewhere. It can go into the O-line. It can go into wide receiver. It could even, excuse me, it could even go into edge, where they have some issues. It can go into the second starting corner, where they have a rather large hole right now, right? Yeah. You can plug a lot of guys into that spot, and they'll have success because Lamar Jackson is there and because they have a good O-line. We think they'll have a good O-line. So as of right now, I would say no. But that's not anything to do with JK. I think JK should hit free agency, and he should be paid very, very well. I think he's an extremely talented player. Just putting him next to Lamar Jackson, it's not a spot that you need to dump that money into. And particularly in Baltimore, we do like what they've done at the receiver position. They have a better receiving core than they've had at any point recently. But they could still be better. Like, there's still a lot of question marks in that wide receiver core. And Odell, not sure that that's a long-term answer, right? Okay. So as of right now, I would say no. But obviously, it depends on how things go this season.
Yeah. And salute to Hendo from the Roll Pod for the $10 donation. Says, buy some tickets. Yes.
Thank you, Hendo.
Listen, and right on time, because our stream bot just put the link to the Roundup meet and greet. Again, if you're going to be in the Maryland area, this is going to be Columbia, Maryland. Okay, right between Baltimore and DC. All right, right in the middle there, you have Columbia, Maryland. August 4th, the Roundup meet and greet at Bus Boys and Poets. You do not want to miss it. If you're here, get your tickets today. There's going to be food, drinks, music, giveaways, and we're going to send you home with a little goodie bag. And that area where it's located, it's a district. There's all kinds of things to do right there. And it's right across the street from the mall as well. So, even when you're done over there, you still want to party, there'll be things that'll be open, and you can just enjoy the night. Okay. That's going to be on a Friday. So get your tickets.
Yes. And Reg, I can't check right now, but I'm taking you at your word, and I gave you your extra 1,000 points for being subscribed to the newsletter. Thank you very much.
I did see that. Yes. Reg is subscribed. Yes. I figured that was you. And she says he should have 5,000 points right now, and he's accusing us of withholding points. You know what? You've been docked 500 points for that accusation, sir. Okay, we're docking you. All right, don't make me sick Nightbot on you. Okay. What we got? What's the next question?
Okay, question number 2. So we gotta start going through these topics, man. We've been here too long.
We got a lot to talk about NBA too.
We are going with this question from Jeremy. Thank you very much, Jeremy, for the submission. Is there too much pressure on rookie quarterbacks to perform regardless of where they were drafted or the situation with the team?
You want to go first, or you want me to
go ahead? I think there can be in certain situations. People expect, particularly when you're talking about the top quarterbacks, they expect instant production, right? They expect those top 10, top 5 guys to go in there day one and be top players in the league, right? I think there is a little more leeway, excuse me, in terms of their performance with later picks, but there's also a much faster hook for those guys. Right? You have a second, third, fourth round. You go out there, you don't perform well, you're not the starter anymore. So I'm going to say yes. I think that a lot of fans and a lot of teams really forget that there is a process to developing players, particularly at that position, and it takes some time for kind of like they say, the game to slow down for them, right? You for me, when you have a rookie quarterback, I'm just looking to see flashes of what they can be. You don't expect them to go in there and play consistently, or at least I don't. And I think that there are a lot more players who would be viable starting quarterbacks if teams would draft guys and sit them and let them develop, as much as they can off the field before throwing them in there. Like, you take guys, look at Zach Wilson, right? The number 2 overall pick, clearly not ready to play.
Yeah.
Absolutely no shot of him being successful when the Jets threw him out there, right? And now, after a couple of years, they sign Aaron Rodgers. They're finished with Zach Wilson. He's never going to be their quarterback again. Maybe he'll get a shot somewhere else. But if you take that same guy, you draft him, and like what happened for Aaron Rodgers, you let him sit for a year or two. I mean, Aaron sat for 3. And then he comes in, then you're probably going to get a much more polished player from the jump. You're not going to get somebody who goes out there and is just panicking because they just have no idea what to do. They can't get it done. And I think there are a lot of quarterbacks like that where they would benefit greatly from being able to sit. Now, there are guys who, can go out there from the jump and play well. There are guys who can go out there and struggle early and it doesn't break them. Like, I mean, you look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen was awful at his career, but it didn't break him. And I think that's, again, on the coaching staff and on the organization, letting a player know that, hey, no matter what kind of struggles you have, we still have confidence in you. You're still our guy. Don't worry about it. It's a process, and we're going to get there. So I do think that there is too much pressure on rookies to perform, particularly at that position. And, the expectations are just too high a lot of times.
Yes, I agree. And you mentioned Aaron Rodgers having 3 years to sit. The same thing with Jordan Love, which is why I feel better about Jordan Love now than I did when he got drafted, right? I was always rooting for him. I didn't think he was really going to, trying to be anything. But 3 years later, right, and we got a glimpse of him last year. I think he played in 2 games. He started. I can't remember, 1 or 2 games. Didn't look awful. That's for sure. So I feel a little bit better about it. And 3 years in one system, that changes that. I mean, that changes the trajectory for certain players, right? Certain players that may not necessarily be ready, that might be kind of like that Zach Wilson, clearly not ready. You're not rushing them out there, and they know the plays like the back of their hand. So when they get thrown out there, there might be some jitters because they're not used to being out there that often, but they know what they're doing. Yeah. Right. They understand at that point what they need to do. And like we said, that makes them, a more polished QB. Are they going to be great? Maybe, maybe not. Are they going to be serviceable? A lot of times I think they will. Right. I think we can look through history at some of these quarterbacks and say, man, if they were in a better situation, they'd be better. If they had a little bit more time to sit, they'd be better. Vince Young is always the one that sticks out to me. Vince Young showed you flashes of what he could be. He could have been great, I think. Mm-hmm. But he went to a team that just didn't, they didn't support him. They didn't have his back, and they didn't care about his development. They wanted him to carry the team right away. Yeah. I think he did his rookie year, right? but there's no development going on after that. Had they given him the Josh Allen treatment, because with Josh Allen, yes, Josh Allen didn't have to sit, but he got a lot of support, right? They said, yes, you're struggling a lot. We're going to simplify the playbook for you. We're going to bring in more talent, and then, we're going to get you up to speed. And he put in the work too. I can't stress that enough. He put in a lot of work himself, and he turned it around, right? But that was because the team invested in him and put their faith in him, and they're 100% in on him. The Jets didn't do that with Zach Wilson, and which is crazy to me because you drafted him, 2 overall?
Yep.
How do you give up on him? Because really, it wasn't just 2 years. Like, they pretty much gave up on him after the first year, right? They pretty much was like, all right, we're not feeling this.
It was like Tennessee giving up on Malik Willis after basically one game. I think you look at a guy like Mitchell Trubisky, who was the second overall pick as well. Shouldn't have been, obviously. There were much better quarterbacks who went after him, but that's a guy who won the division twice for the Bears. But that was more of the team around him, right? And I think that if he had gone into Chicago and been able to sit and learn, he's a guy who can be, he was never going to be an elite quarterback. He was never going to be Pat Mahomes or anything like that, but he could have been their long-term answer at quarterback, but they threw him out there. And, there was some good. There was a lot of bad. And after a few years, even though they made the playoffs a couple of times with him, they said, you know what, this isn't working. Get him out of here.
Yeah. Listen, this goes back to what I've said from the time we started this show. Okay. I think it's more than half of the league's coaches to front office. I'm talking about head coaching down to position coaches to front office personnel. I would say more than half of them are not qualified for their jobs. They are not pro level coaches, GMs, front office staff. They got their jobs through nepotism, and they don't know what they're doing. And it trickles down to, situations like this where you get players that you shouldn't be getting, or you get players that you don't know how to develop them, and you just discard of them.
And I think part of it too, to be fair, is it's an owner problem. Because if you're the GM and you're the coach and hey, if we win 5 games this year, I'm getting fired, then you're not going to have that kind of patience with the quarterback.
Yeah,
the quarterback's going to be there. You're going to be fired, right? So you're not going to say, hey, you know what? You sit and we'll put Andy Dalton out there for this season. It's fine. We'll just take the L this year.
Well, coaches too, right? Because I'm dumping on coaches, but if you decide to go with the young coach that has no experience, right, then you have to give him some leeway, right? And if you're not willing to wait it out, don't hire him, right? Don't think you're going to get a
owners think they're willing to wait it out, and it's like the Madden syndrome, right? Like, okay, I'll hire Matt Rule, and we'll give him this 7-year deal, and we'll let him do his thing because he's a program builder. It's going to be great. We're going to let him build it the right way. And then 3 years in, you're like, you're tired of the letters coming in. You're tired of talk radio talking about how terrible your team is. You're tired of the ticket sales not being where you think they should be. You're tired of the merchandise sales not being where they should be, and because you can't just sim to the 6th season when it turns around. And you might have meant it at the time when you said, hey, we'll give you the time at however much time you need to turn it around to do it the right way. But halfway through the right way, you're kind of tired of it.
Yeah,
you kind of want to win whatever way.
Facts. So, all right, NBA talk.
No, we got one more.
Oh, we got one more. Oh, one more.
Yeah, it was a late submission from our guy Jerome Bigby. Can a first-round pick be considered a bust after their first year? If not, how many years does it take to consider a player a bust?
Hey, salute to you, Jerome. Thanks for the question, man. After 1 year, no, I don't think so. Some players, I mean, they can have a disappointing year, but if they turn around the next year and they're a beast, are they a bust? No, I don't think so. How many years? I would say, that's a good question, right? Because there are some players that have gotten the bust label. Maybe their first their rookie contract, whatever, didn't work out, and then later on, they turn out to be pretty good. Are they remembered as busts per se? Right. So here's the thing. The higher you're picked, the higher expectation that you get.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're talking about a rookie that's a 4th round pick and he's not good for a couple of years and then he turned out to be really good, no, that's not a bust. Nobody's ever going to call him a bust. He was a late round pick. If you're talking about even second rounders, a lot of times nobody's going to, it takes a little time. Devontae Adams was a good example, but Devontae Adams wasn't good right out the gate. Nobody thinks of him as a bust.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if you're talking about a top 10 pick, now that's a little trickier because usually I can't think of an example. You don't get a player that has high expectations, has an awful year or two, and then turns it around and becomes like a perennial Pro Bowler or all pro player. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head.
Well, yes, you can. We just talked about him. Josh Allen.
Yes. Correct.
I would say that yes, you can be a bust after a year because you gotta think what is a bust, right? It's a player who didn't live up to their draft position, right? Now, applying that label to a player is always going to have some lag time. Like nobody's going to call a player a bust after 1 year.
Yes,
but you can be a bust after 1 year if you just can't play because really a bust is it's a label for the GM, not really for the player because the player doesn't select themselves. Like Mitchell Trubisky didn't say, make me he obviously they want to go high, but he didn't make himself the 2nd overall pick. Anthony Bennett in the NBA didn't select himself 1st overall to go to Cleveland, right? Like that was just them making a poor decision. That's not on him. We look at CJ Henderson, who Carolina traded for. He was a top 10 pick. He played 8 games in Jacksonville, and they said, this guy ain't it, get him out of here. Right. Now, no matter what happens to CJ Henderson for the rest of his career, he's a bust for that GM and that organization because he played 8 games there and they spent a top 10 pick on him. They can't recover that, right?
But is Josh Allen considered a bust? I don't think he is.
No, he's not because he's still in Buffalo. He's in Buffalo. They turned it around with him. He's a great player for Buffalo. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
It's a label for the organization and the GM, not for the player.
I have a good one here. Let me see if anybody put it in the chat first before I steal their thunder here. No, I don't see the name. I have a name, B. I have a name. Tell me if you think, because nobody will say he's a bust. How he in his career. Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn is funny because if you look, he was 1,000-yard back in Buffalo for I believe 1 season.
Yeah,
but you kind of have to. I kind of lean towards yes, because again, not saying that Marshawn is a bad player. That's not what the conversation is when we're talking about bust.
Obviously,
it was a bad pick for Buffalo. It didn't work out for them. Not really. He had the one decent season there. But I believe what he played like a total of 3 years in Buffalo.
I think it was 3 years.
So he didn't even get to the end of his rookie contract. He has to be a bust for the Bills.
See, Jeremy, you got to think about how we're breaking down the term bust. What is a bust? I guess so again, what is a bust to you? He's not a bust. Obviously, he's not a bust. He's all-time great. But is he a bust to the team that drafted him? Because he wasn't an all-time great for Buffalo.
No, it wasn't.
Right? 3 years there, and he didn't work out. So, was that a great pick for them? Right?
It was a terrible pick for them.
It was a terrible pick.
Like I said, look at CJ Henderson. If CJ Henderson goes out there and he is an all-pro defender this year and plays the rest of his year making multiple Pro Bowls and has a great career in Carolina, did that pick work out for the Jaguars?
Right.
They're the ones who took him in the top 10.
Another good one, D-Weezy, is Drew Brees a bust. Drew Brees wasn't a first-round pick, though.
But also, Drew Brees played well for San Diego. They ran out of patience. But I would say they would take that one back if they could.
But this is, man, good topic, Jerome. Good question. What do you guys consider a bust? Right. Let's break down the parameters of a bust. We're not going to go too deep into it in this one. We'll pick this up in another show. But you guys think about that. What is we're gonna put the question to you. In fact, we're gonna put it on the community tab, and I want you guys to give your answers. What is a bust to you? Is a bust just a player that had high expectations and just never made himself anything, or is a bust a player that didn't work out for the team that drafted him? Because again, if you were a GM and you drafted this guy and he didn't work out for you, but he goes off somewhere else and becomes great, are you sitting there saying, I made a good pick there because look at what he did for another team, or I made a bad pick there because he didn't work out for us? Mm-hmm. And if it was a bad pick for you and he didn't work out, that's a bust. Yes. Salute to Chocolate Lady Cat. Thank you for 1337. Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't see anything on here. Yeah, I don't see a message. If you have a message, just put it in the chat. But I appreciate the donation. Yeah. So Jim Plunkett, Ferris brings up Jim Plunkett. Was Jim Plunkett a first round pick?
Yes.
Yeah. Finished his career as a Super Bowl champion. I'm not sure if he finished it, but towards the end of his career, Super Bowl champion. So yeah, he was whacked for New England. Yeah, won 2 Super Bowls with the Raiders. Yeah. So is he a bust? For Patriots? Yeah. All right. Mm-hmm. So okay. All right. Let's go on to NBA because time is running down here. You guys really think you can get us for 2 hours? You're not.
All right. Next up, we have free agency rumors.
Yes. Hold on. I'm not going to forget this time. Bam. There we go. Yes. And let me bring this back up here. All right. Yes. There you go. Good job, B.
That's right.
All right. So free agency starts Friday, 6 p.m. in the NBA. All right.
The tampering period. The actual free agency starts July 6th, where players can actually sign.
I didn't know they had that in NBA. I thought
you don't remember DeAndre Jordan?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
When they kidnapped him and locked him in his house
after he agreed to sign with the Mavericks. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I remember that. So what's the talk out there? I hear my Nets might be movers and shakers in free agency.
So yeah, one thing, one possibility is Damian Lillard to Brooklyn. It's such a ridiculous relationship between Lillard and that team. Like, they're never good enough. He always wants to just put it out there that maybe he would go somewhere else. But then, if the little heat comes back, no, I want to stay. But he's just like, it seems like he's just hoping it'll happen on its own. And there's always teams interested in trading for Damian Lillard. And so rumor is out there. I wouldn't even necessarily call it a rumor. But maybe some speculation that Brooklyn could be interested. What would you be willing to give up for Damian Lillard?
Well, I'm glad you asked this, B, because since the GM, I defend Sean Marks, by the way. I'm a Sean Marks fan, but since they made the questionable move of not giving up Mikal Bridges for that number 2 pick, which was
number 3.
Number 3 pick, Scoot Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like Scoot Henderson too. We didn't give up Mikal Bridges for Scoot Henderson and Anthony Simons. Okay, if we're not going to move him for that, I don't want to move him for Damian Lillard.
He's off the table.
Yeah. And I'm not even saying Scoot is going to be as good as Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is an excellent player, right? But he's an older player.
Yeah.
And if we get Damian Lillard, that means we're trying to win now. We're not trying to develop. We're trying to win now. So we need to have, if we're going for Damian Lillard, that's Damian Lillard playing with Mikal Bridges. That's the only way we can even think about competing, right? So what am I giving up? Oh, first I'm going to read this donation here from Morris to Tallies for the street says, thank you for the countdown shout out. Hey, thank you, coach. Thank you for that $10 tip. Appreciate it. Like I said, I can't stress enough that you're not going to find a better ranking out there. Okay.
Now, unfortunately for Coach, I'm gonna be adding those points to more sip to tally, not his sip to tally tally that he's got going on. So, kind of shot yourself in the foot with that one, but it's okay. It's all right.
He might be eligible for 2 prizes. That's funny. No, okay. What would I give up?
Yeah.
This is tough, man. Because I love how the Nets develop their young players. They've developed a lot of good players. Karis LeVert, right? Spencer Dinwiddie, who we just brought back. What's his name? Jared Allen. Okay. Like, I mean, they get a lot of these players later on, develop them, and they turn into good, solid players. And I don't like seeing them leave.
Mm-hmm.
But I also realize that there are limitations to a lot of these players. They're not superstars or anything like that.
Yeah.
But man, I don't want to give up Claxton. You know what I'm saying? But they might ask for Claxton. Cam Johnson is a restricted free agent. It would have to be kind of like a sign and trade type of thing. I would give up Cam Johnson, and I like Cam Johnson too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's Mikal Bridges' friend. They don't, he don't want to break up the duo, but it would have to be Cam Johnson. Maybe Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas is another person I like.
Listen. This is an easy answer. Easy answer.
Well, I'm answering
I know you like your role players.
I'm answering it.
Let me throw this at you, though.
Okay.
Let me throw this at you. It's Cam Johnson, Ben Simmons, and picks.
I was getting to Ben Simmons, but getting rid of Ben Simmons is like receiving a player. Okay. So like we have to give up more to get rid of him.
That's why I said and picks.
How many picks are we talking about?
You see, now you just said you got to give up more. Now all of a sudden is how much? Listen, it's Cam Johnson, Ben Simmons, and a future protected first, and then a couple seconds.
I don't think that's enough to get it done.
Oh, I think it is. I think it definitely is because Dame Lillard, they have to be tired of it. And then they've got Scoot Henderson and Cam Johnson as their backcourt. And, if they can convince Ben Simmons that basketball is fun again, that's the problem. Pretty nice young core there.
That's the problem. He was healthy this year, and he just didn't, didn't look motivated.
Yeah.
If we could have sold it as, yeah, he's just still a little hurt. He's almost there. He's almost back to 100%. We could have sold it a little bit better, but the word is out on Ben Simmons, so I don't know about that. But listen, I don't care. Listen, I don't care. We can give however many picks we need to give up, right? Because if we're going for Dame Lillard, we're trying to win right now. So Cam Johnson, if they take Ben Simmons, we're gonna have to give up the picks. We're gonna have to. And okay, Cam Johnson, Ben Simmons, picks. That's fine. And if we do that, we are in the hunt. I don't think that makes us favorites, but a team with Dame Lillard, with Mikal Bridges, Nick Claxton, that'll be very competitive.
Imagine if Joe Harris remembers how to shoot.
Yeah. That's another factor there. And Dinwiddie, we still have Dinwiddie.
Maybe throw him in that trade too.
Listen. Save your picks and just I like Dame Lillard a lot. I wouldn't be mad at it, but again, is that enough for us to win the championship? I don't think so.
No, I think this is a pass for Brooklyn. Like if you're not going to give up Bridges for Scoot Henderson and Anthony Simons, then just stay with what you got and wait for the right player to come along, because I don't think that Damian Lillard is the right player. He's not going to take you to the finals. He's a little bit older, and it's just not really going to be worth it for you. I agree. But I'm going to tell you guys right now. All right, you're not going to get this type of honesty on any other sports show. If we sign Damian Lillard, I'm going to change what I'm saying right now and say that we're going to win a title. Sorry.
sorry, if we get Damian Lillard, I'm going to change my tune. I'm going to say we are going to be favorites for the NBA Finals. So I'm just that kind of transparency you won't find anywhere else. Okay.
No, look, all right. We ate our vegetables. And now it's time to move on to the part that everybody wants to talk about, which is what are the Lakers going to do? And it sounds like they're trying to bring back. They've essentially told everybody, yes, we're matching for Austin Reeves, so Austin's going to be back. They look like they tendered Hachimura as well as Vanderbilt, so they are both most likely going to be coming back. They're trying to bring back D'Angelo Russell as well. Okay, and they are looking to possibly spend the mid-level exception, which is a little over $12 million annually, on NBA champion Bruce Brown. Now, I've said that the Lakers need to go out and make a splash, essentially get a star player there to help support LeBron and AD, because LeBron's getting older, AD is AD, and they need another guy who can consistently score for them. But our guy Ben Steiner on Twitter made a decent point that team has not been together very long. It's been together for about half a season, and they made a deep playoff run this year, even though they ended up getting swept by the eventual champions.
Yeah.
If they bring back Austin Reeves and Hachimura and Vanderbilt, and they're able to bring back D'Angelo Russell, I think adding Bruce Brown, it makes a compelling case for them to be right back in those conference finals next season.
Oh, I think they are right back in. And listen, we make fun of D'Angelo Russell. I'm a D'Angelo Russell fan, right? Brooklyn revived his career. He can't get any worse than he did in this playoff run. He has to shoot, but I don't think he'll be worse. I think he'll be better. And again, he came in halfway through the season. Mm-hmm. Run it back, add Bruce Brown, who'll give you something on both sides, but definitely give you that defense, some more on the defensive side. That's not a bad move. It's again, it's not the sexy move, but it's a pretty sound plan. It's a pretty sound plan.
But it's a very, very nice move for the Lakers, I think.
Yeah.
I think that Bruce Brown, Austin Reeves is going to be overpaid. With whatever he gets offered in the offseason, I think Bruce Brown would be a little bit underpaid at that $12 million. I think he brings a lot to every team that he's played for. And I would be thrilled if the Lakers ended up bringing him in. And obviously, they have their draft picks and they signed a couple of guys after the draft. I think, they brought in Jalen, I forget if it's Hood Shafino or Shafino Hood, who I think is going to contribute. Their second round pick, I'm not really expecting a whole lot from, but they did but they signed a center after the draft out of Florida, whose name I cannot remember. I know Jay's got it in the chat though, but he looks like he's got some skill, and they're not going to have Mo Bamba coming back next year. And this guy, he's a rim protector. He's got some moves on offense. He's pretty athletic. So I think that they're going to get a decent contribution from their rookies. And so bringing back the bulk of the squad that went to the conference finals and adding a player like Bruce Brown, I think would be a win in the offseason for LA.
I know you forgot Lonnie Walker, who really is
Well, the thing with Lonnie Walker is Lonnie Walker is also a free agent, right? And I guess the talk right now is between him and Dennis Schroeder. And listen, I'm a Fino.
Just call him Fino.
Thank you, Jay.
That's the name, Fino. Yeah.
The talk is between Lonnie Walker and Dennis Schroeder. I guess that they're going to try and bring back one of them. Lonnie Walker obviously wants to play more than he did for the Lakers because he was glued to that bench. I'm a big Dennis Schroeder fan. And you all know that. I love Dennis Schroeder, love having him on the team. But if it's going to come down to one of those two guys, I'm taking Lonnie. But we'll see how that plays out and what kind of
Well. Look how far we've come on the Lonnie Walker.
It's just, Dennis Schroeder is what he is. He's a decent defender, he's too inconsistent offensively. Yeah, and you just want to go with the youth.
You're starting to see the light on Lonnie Walker.
Not
It's
the-
cool.
not the
No, it's
light.
cool. It's cool.
Definitely not the light.
All right, let's keep this moving because 2 hours is approaching rapidly here. Is that all we need to discuss from the NBA?
I'm not bringing that up, Coach. You better donate again. You want me to talk about that?
What? Oh,
I just said I'm not bringing it up again. I just said I'm not bringing it up.
Look, maybe
Don't talk about that.
Listen. Overtime show. We'll bring it up real quick. That'll be something for overtime show because
but also no.
Yeah, that and also, do you want to bring up the Larry Bird thing? That might have to be a
we can do that. We can do that real quick.
Okay. All right. Listen. Because let me break up our little segment here for our sponsors. All right. Look, take this off the screen real quick. Patreon.com/LBHT Show. Let's just let the people know. Okay. Tell them about the tiers real quick. All right. If you have, let me start by saying this. If you have $5 in your pocket, okay, it's a great investment. All right. I know you got $5 in your pocket. Go ahead and sign up for a tier. If you got more, if you got 10, that's even better. You got 20, that's even better. If you got 60 and you're a content creator, it's as good as it gets. Okay. Explain to them the tiers real quick.
Yeah, it is real quick. We're going rapid fire the rest of the show. All right, so we got the $5 tier that gets you into the NFL Pick'em League. We give away the custom LBHT trophy. You have the $10 tier that gets you in the LBHT crew coin that Jose has. He also gets you into our Dynasty League where we give away a custom championship belt to the winner every season. It looks like that. Hope you saw it. That was quick. We also have the $20 tier that will get you. It's a combined tier for this show and our boxing podcast that we do with OTR Mike, Ring Kings podcast. That'll get you everything that I mentioned, as well as our custom poker set featuring our top 25 fighters of all time. It looks like that. It's a fantastic set of cards, and you have a lot of history there. You go over to Ring Kings podcast, check out that series. It's a 5-part series. Fantastic conversation. Hit the subscribe button, hit those notifications so you can join us for the unbelievably late lives after boxing events. And then we have the $60 tier that Jose mentioned, which is the creator tier, which is for people who are at the beginning of their YouTube journey or are thinking about getting into the YouTube game. And maybe you want a little bit of guidance, a little bit of strategy. You want some help. And we have a consultation session essentially with Jose and myself, with Hendo from the Rogue Pod, with OTR Mike from Open Mic with OTR Mike, and we'll go over, content strategy, branding, community building, anything that you need to know to help you avoid those common pitfalls that YouTubers fall into early on in their career. We also have the collaborators channel, the creators channel, where you can, go in there and ask questions and get answers from everybody in the Discord who is in the content creation game. We do have a collaborators channel as well, which gets you the info for people that we've worked with, like graphic designers, editors, things like that. So you don't end up on Fiverr, because you will lose your money on Fiverr and you will not be happy.
There you go. And also check out LBHTShow.com/shop. This shirt that I'm wearing, you can't see I got the green screen effect on here. I'm gonna take that off real quick so you can see how it really looks there. Well, now I'm frozen. There we go. Look. There you go. Look, this is a dope shirt. Okay, this is a very popular shirt. This is probably our most popular shirt, to be honest. It's the Raven City shirt. Okay, with the outline of East and West Baltimore and the Baltimore City skyline in the back. Check it out. We got that and much more on LBHTShow.com/shop. Look, summer's here. You're looking for some gear. You're looking at something for the August 4th event to wear. Okay. We also have some stuff available there for you guys to purchase, whether in person or online. Okay. Check it out. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's get to this Larry Bird story. You guys remember Larry Bird, right? What's up, Mr. Galloway? Salute to you. All right, you guys remember Dennis Rodman? Dennis Rodman was the 4-time NBA champ.
I believe so. Yes.
4-time NBA
possibly 5. I don't remember if
he won 2 with Pistons.
I was gonna say I don't know if he won one with the Spurs or 2 with the
Spurs,
but he won a lot.
Yes. NBA Hall of Famer Dennis Rodman was asked about, was he asked about Larry Bird, or he just kind of brought Larry Bird on his own? What was the quote that he said?
I don't know.
Basically, 5-time champ. There you go. All right. Okay. We'll paraphrase. Dennis Rodman just basically said Larry Bird could not run with these guys in today's NBA. Okay. He would be playing overseas because the game is just a different game, which we're trying to tell you guys that, it's not the same league. However,
say he'd be in Europe.
He said he'd be in Europe. I don't agree with them. Do you agree with them, B?
Absolutely not. Larry Bird is one of the greatest of all time, and he would be a great player today. It is a different league, but that applies to lower level players. Great players typically are going to be great regardless. Now, I think where it would apply for guys in the league, when you start thinking about better players, I think guys like maybe Dikembe Mutombo, Alonzo Mourning, some of the bigger, slower centers, particularly defensive centers. You don't really have a place in this league because you're not going to be as useful on that defensive end with everybody playing the perimeter game. Right. And even just bigger, less athletic guys like we saw it with Jahlil Okafor out of Duke, right? He had that prototypical size. He's a great low post player, a good scorer, and he got into the NBA and he just couldn't get on the court because he couldn't guard anybody and he couldn't do anything outside of the paint offensively. Right. And that was a lot of guys in the 90s. And that type of game is just almost completely gone from the league at this point.
Yeah. So the way he said, if Larry Bird played in this era, he'd be in Europe. Dennis Rodman would ask if Larry Bird would beat LeBron one-on-one. Well, no, he wouldn't beat LeBron one-on-one. No. But I think he would still be a very good scorer because, that's what he did. He could shoot. He was a longer player. I think his game would translate very nicely in today's NBA, right? But this kind of speaks to what we're talking about. Like Dennis Rodman is looking at how they played back in their day. And listen, obviously Larry Bird was great, right? Mm-hmm. And he was tough, but he was just like, listen, those guys, the way they played, could not play in today's NBA. A lot of them can't. Not Larry Bird, mind you. Larry Bird, yes. A lot of other guys that they played against, no, because they didn't have the talent of Larry Bird. Yeah, they were tough. They were tough, and they played a different type of basketball that allows you to throw elbows and punch people in the face and all that stuff. That doesn't exist in today's NBA. And even if it did, those guys would get murdered because they are not the size, and physical, they don't have the physical attributes of these players today. If they were allowed to throw hands with guards that are 6'6" and 220 pounds, rock solid muscle, I don't think it would work out for Craig Elo.
And Coach said Shaq would murder these kids. Yes, but Shaq is an outlier, right? Shaq played in, he was in the league.
Shaq didn't play with
Wade and them were in the league.
Shaq didn't play with Bird. Yeah.
He missed Bird by a few years, but Shaq is a different beast altogether. Like there aren't 7 foot, 300 and whatever pound guys who were still very athletic.
Right.
Like that's not a thing that we see. So yeah, Shaq would be great in any era because he was just a freak. Mm-hmm. But I look at a guy like I used to love Yao in Houston. He was 7'6". He had a nice jumper, but he's so unathletic. I don't know that he would that he would work out in the league right now. He didn't have 3-point range, and he was so slow-footed that I don't know that you could even have him out there on the defensive end.
Right.
It's a different game. It's a more wide open game.
Yeah. So Chris, you weren't reading or you weren't listening to what we were saying. So y'all drunk. Larry Bird would cook these fools. We said Larry Bird would translate to today's NBA. I don't know if you missed that.
Yeah, we both said that Larry Bird would be a great player. So what are you talking about? It's us that are drinking?
Yeah. Yeah. So look, no, we don't agree with Dennis Rodman. We think Larry Bird would definitely be that dude today.
Oh, you was typing too fast. Okay. Not sure how that explains the words that you type, but
oh, we said it while you're typing, man. Well, listen, use your ears, okay? Use your ears, listen, okay?
So you typed that before we even gave our opinion, Chris? That's not better. What are you talking about?
No, man. We look there are some players that we think that their games would translate to today's NBA, right? Obviously, Jordan. We think Larry Bird. I even think Isaiah's game would translate to today's NBA. But you know,
he said I'd be ready.
he said be ready. He'd be ready for the smoke. You know, but obviously, I don't think Bill Lambier's game would translate to today's NBA.
Absolutely not.
I don't. You know, I like there's certain players back then, a lot of players back then, that the games would not. No, a lot of them would not make it to today's NBA. Some of them had skill, they didn't have the athleticism, and they just wouldn't be good enough. It wouldn't be good enough, and it's different rules, right? You can't throw elbows and knees and fists like you used to try to make the playing field a little bit more even. And even if that were allowed, because I have to say it, because old heads like us and older like to call this generation soft. If they allowed these players to play like that today, those players back then wouldn't stand a chance. They would get murdered.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this up now because we are dangerously close to the 2 hours. We're gonna get our trivia question out, and then we will be leaving. So if you have any questions, for I'm not going to call it bonus time because we ain't staying. But if you have any questions, you go ahead and put them in the chat. And I'm going to give out the trivia question for this week. And remember, the first 3 to answer correctly get 1,750 and 500 points respectively. So back in, and this it's not directly from D Weezy, but D Weezy did inspire this question, so I gave him some extra loyalty points as well. Back in 2007, way back. Some of our viewers were not even alive then. Remember a little school called Appalachian State, and they beat Big Bad. They went into the Big House and beat
into the Big House,
Michigan, 34-32.
OTR Mike remembers.
The quarterback of that team was Armani Edwards. Okay, and it was a fantastic story. It was one of the biggest stories of the season. Then the Carolina Panthers ruined it a couple years later by drafting Armani Edwards in the 3rd round to play wide receiver, which he never played. This was in 2010. But now, obviously, he was a bust. I mean, never played wide receiver. Took him in the 3rd round. He wasn't ready for that. Didn't work out. He is actually still playing today, though. He's playing in Canada. But
okay.
That's not the question, obviously, because I didn't throw a question in there at the end. But in the same draft, the Baltimore Ravens took a wide receiver as well by the name of David Reed. Remember him? They drafted him in the 5th round of the 2010 draft.
Yes.
Both Armani Edwards and David Reed played 4 years in the NFL. Both of them finished their career with 6 catches. Both of them were catchless through 2 seasons, caught 5 in year 3 and 1 in year 4 to get that total of 6. Now, with these remarkably similar careers, 4 years, 6 catches, I want to know who had more career receiving yards, Armani Edwards or David Reed?
All right, it's one or the other. Put your answers in there. The first 3 that get it right get points. All right. Was it Armani Edwards or David Reed? Who had more yards, you said?
Yes.
Who had more yards? Okay, we got 2 for Edwards. Okay. Pick a name. Okay. NDT Sports says David Reed. I'm gonna go with David Reed personally. I don't get points. I'm just guessing here. Okay. I obviously I didn't follow either one of their careers too closely.
Well, more fool you, okay? Because very compelling stuff happening with those guys.
All right. Okay, we got a few answers there.
So we got some answers in.
Give him a couple more seconds. Couple more seconds. Type your for people that are lagging a little bit. Type your answers in. Type.
Well, we've got more than 3 for each one. So
okay.
I'll go ahead and give the answer here. David Reed on 12 targets had 6 catches for 68 yards. Armani Edwards on 16 targets had 6 catches for 131 yards. Armani Edwards is the correct answer.
It was Edwards.
Now, for bonus points. Well, I'm not even going to say for bonus points. This is just for fun. Yes or no? Was Armani Edwards' career-long catch for more yards than David Reed's entire career?
I feel like it's yes. You would. Why would you ask this question?
Well, you know that I hate Armani Edwards, so it could be.
I'm gonna say yes. Well, you have like a 69-yard, a 70-yard catch.
69-yard catch. But there's infinite twists and turns in this story, because despite the fact that he caught a 69-yard pass, he never scored a touchdown. Because he was so unbelievably slow.
All right. Who do you have the 3 who got the
we
answers
had
right?
Jeremy, we've got Hendo from the Rogue Pod, and we have, I'm gonna skip over Chris because he's very disrespectful. Jeremy, Hendo, and Chris got it correct. So thank you very much for participating. I'll go ahead and add those points now. And then it's time to get out of here. It
is time to get out of here. We are close to the 2-hour mark. Thank you guys so much. Anytime we think there's nothing to talk about, it's always our longest shows.
I hate it.
It turns out we have everything to talk about. We have a lot more to discuss in the Overtime Show. All right. Quick preview of the Overtime Show. If you are a video game fan, we are going to be discussing. Look at that. We got Joel. We got the girl from Horizon. All right. They don't look happy. They look perplexed, and they're wondering why is all the money falling out of the sky, but it's out of our reach. It's because they are very expensive to make. Okay, and we're going to talk about the cost of video game development, and it's really separating the big baller brands from the broke boys. Okay. That, and we're going to talk about some NFL players who have been bad boys getting in some more trouble gambling. All right, so that's coming up now. But patrons, get ready. The Overtime Show is starting soon. If you want to be a part of the Overtime Show, you go to patreon.com/LBHT Show. Just $5.
Coach is correct. It wasn't a 69-yard catch. It was 82.
Oh, okay. There you go. And he still didn't get a touchdown?
It makes it so much worse that he didn't score.
Wow. I think Coach deserves some points for correcting you.
I don't think he does. What happened was I was looking at his career long return, his punt return.
Okay.
69 yards, but also did not score because my God, was that guy slow.
Okay. All right. B, are you ready?
I'm ready. Yeah.
B is ready. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Have a great week. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we will see you next time. Peace.